Cowboys in at number 7 for me. I mean, you beat the Giants. It's not really saying anything, so I can't really move them, but I can't really hold it against them because you got to beat the team in front of you. And if the team's really bad in front of you, you got to curb stomp the team in front of you, and that's exactly what they did. And boy, did they cover. You see 17.5, and you're like, ooh, oh, no, just kidding. It's Danny DeVito that's starting at quarterback, so this is not going to work. I think we're just going to go ahead and take the Cowboys here. CeeDee Lamb is a number 1 receiver. We can stop the debate. We don't have to worry about it. If you want to debate where he ranks among the top wide receivers in the NFL, fine. That's another conversation. And you know what? He's still maybe a top.
He's still really good, though.
He's a top 6 or 7 number 1 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
Top 10 number 1 receiver in the NFL.
Really good, though.
Really good. And you know what? If you get Brandon Cooks more involved, like they've started to kind of trickle in a little bit here, and the run game is more consistent, look, Dallas is going to be a really good team. There's no question until we get to the playoffs, because what concerns me, lost to the Eagles, lost to the 49ers, those are your competition. Now, one was a blowout, one was a close game, but these are contending teams that you can't beat.
Everything about the Dolphins that I put the Vikings above them at 9.
Ooh, Joshua Dobbs' Vikings.
The Vikings are a top 10 power ranking team. I think they are. Are you serious? This is a team I was so low on to start the year. So low on last year. They had the best luck of any NFL team in my lifetime. This is a top 5 team defensively in terms of DVOA. Danielle Hunter has been really good. Jordan Addison continues to be really productive. This is a team that without Justin Jefferson, we thought would take a huge step back. And you bring in Josh Dobbs, and Addison and Hawkinson don't even lose a step. They get back Justin Jefferson soon, too, which means the offense even gets more potent. With a good defense and a potent offense, I think that they are dangerous.
But I don't want to be a hater, so I'm going to go with the Vikings, number 10.
Nice.
Because the defense is the real deal. They're top 5, like you said, and I can't believe it because last year they had the worst pass defense in the league. I think Kevin O'Connell's a really good coach. Won 13 games last year. Doesn't look like that was a fluke. You know, maybe it was a fluke for a guy like Matt LaFleur when you take away a Hall of Fame quarterback, but you take away Kirk Cousins, and they find a way to win with Dobbs. And that's a guy that didn't even know the playbook. I know he's a smart guy, and he interns at NASA, and he's a rocket scientist and this and that, but, still, to learn an NFL playbook, to get on the same page as your offensive lineman, your center who's, calling out the signals, and you have to get your snap cadence down, that's pretty magnificent, to be honest with you. So I'll go Minnesota number 10.
James Cook, who had not lost a fumble all season, lost one his rookie year. So we're about the 25th game into James Cook's career about that. He loses a fumble on the first play. You don't want that to happen. James Cook doesn't want that to happen. And Sean McDermott benches him for a quarter and a half and might not have even put him back in if the Bills didn't fall behind 9-zip. And I just sat there thinking, this is the sign of a guy who doesn't know what he's doing right now. He's just grasping at straws. He's desperate. He's just trying to find a scapegoat, honestly, and he found another one this morning. So I'm very worried about the Bills. I was before last night. I kept saying, radio, whatever, any appearances, that, hey, the Broncos got a shot tonight. And I didn't expect it to quite happen like it did, with the Bills just kind of falling apart. This is a sloppy, undisciplined team. I don't think McDermott should get fired or anything. I saw a lot of that on social media. No, he's a good coach, but he's having a really bad year. And again, the James Cook thing, a small thing, but I think that was symptomatic of what's going on in Buffalo. Of they don't know what they're doing. They're just really gripping it right now. And I think the pressure's getting to them. I covered the Packers for a while. I was raised in Wisconsin. I know what that type of town is like a Buffalo. Football's 24/7 there. And they thought, we're trying to get the Super Bowl. We never won one before. And those Bills players feel that every day. When you're 5-4, now 5-5, it's just crushing to you. There's nothing else to take the attention off. And I think that pressure is getting to them a little bit. I'm not saying they can't turn around their season. They could, but none of the signs are good right now. And I don't feel comfortable. Let's put it this way. I'm not going to be backing the Bills too often going forward.
Who scares you the most in that division, long term?
All the defenses are pretty terrifying, to be honest with you. But I would say if you were to pick one team, and one of the things that I always go by in the NFL, it's your quarterback play. You need to have a franchise quarterback. And I think the only other team outside of the Cincinnati Bengals that have a franchise quarterback, I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson and Cleveland Brown lovers, I would say Lamar Jackson is the one that still terrifies me, what he can do to defenses. And I like the Baltimore Ravens defense. I don't think it gets enough credit, but yes, it's in a loaded AFC North division with a lot of tough defenses. So me personally, I would say the Baltimore Ravens are still the team that would terrify me if I were the Cincinnati Bengals.
You come in the first year, you win Coach of the Year, you establish, hey, I can be a head coach. So now there's at least a little bit, okay, well, we've seen what Dable can do as a head coach. We've seen what he can get out of the Giants. They even won a playoff game. And then you have a really bad season when it's a quarterback-rich draft. It is the perfect scenario to start off your coaching career there. It may not be fun right now, but it's going to be a lot more fun when you have Drake May under center or Caleb Williams under center, and it's not going to be Daniel Jones anymore when we stop pretending that he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little bit curious about Caleb Williams in New York, though. That's a market you do not want to go to and have. It has significant expectations. Their offensive line is terrible. We know what he looks like under duress because USC's offensive line has been collapsing.
Yeah,
he doesn't look good.
Good point.
So if they don't have a good offensive line, that thing could go down as a straight up disaster.
It would have to be a situation where it's like, okay, we draft our quarterback and then we get our left tackle.
Yep.
You know, like say what you want about the Chargers, they kind of got that part right. The Bengals definitely got that part right. They're like, okay, if we're going to pay Joe Burrow, we're going to have to get offensive line help, whether it's through the draft. You know, there's going to be some guys available in free agency. Maybe you make a deal for, I wouldn't do it, but a guy like David Bakhtiari will be available via trade. You're going to have to pay him, and he's, hasn't been healthy in 3 years, but still, there's going to be some guys available, but you have to get offensive line help. That's a really good point. Or maybe Drake May's the guy that they want, but I think you have to go Caleb. He's the safer pick. I would go Drake May, though, if I was a GM, but yeah, especially in New York, you have to go with the flashy guy, I feel. I did an eczema commercial one time.
You did an eczema commercial?
Oh, yeah, it was tremendous.
Do it for us.
Like,
I think I might be able to actually find it. I'll probably search during a commercial break.
wait, so this was like,
It was
like a local one? It was like, you did a voiceover? You did
Yeah, I did so back in the day, there was it's probably still around, allaccess.com, and you could find like voiceover work. So when I got out of college, and I was doing like part-time producing before I moved to Iowa, and I was doing like AP stuff and interning. I wanted to make a couple bucks, so I tried to do some voiceover work and did a bunch of eczema stuff. And it's funny because I like redid it and I put like the Sarah McLachlan music behind it because I'm like, every year, over 75% of Americans are diagnosed with eczema. And eczema's no fun, but it's skin rash, and it's like I put the music in the arms of
an angel.
Yeah, and it sounded really
Scott's
serious.
face is so red right now. I will remember skin.
Yeah.
They just show like pictures
and
of
I made
dogs.
made like $500 though. I did that. I worked. I told you guys about my time is I used to be like a bodyguard, not really a bodyguard, but we would go to these like festivals, and it would be like chewing tobacco, koozies. We would just pass out the most random stuff, and I would just sit there with like these like pretty much Instagram models and just make sure nobody was bothering them. And if people were bothering them, I was usually pretty cool with that. Well, yeah, a couple of them.
Did you stand with your arms crossed
Jackie.
and just stare?
No, usually I was just sitting there like
Jackie.
smoking a parliament.
I figured there was probably,
Ryan was in love with Jackie.
Betting games on my phone.
He's like, damn, she fine.
That was the first time I've actually went to Detroit, was for that gig right there.